Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Welcome to the Social Hour, a BatmanOnFilm.com podcast. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Bill Ramey. This is my little podcast, little show here on Batman on Film. And with me today is the senior BOF contributor, or just senior BOF contributor. We have several, right? Ryan Lauer. How are you?
Don't say the.
Yeah.
Oh, it might get some
No.
people a little upset.
I don't want to slide anybody
butthurtness.
Yeah. I don't want to slide anybody.
Yeah, but Peter Vera, he'd get mad because he's like, "You're not the, you frolic."
No, he
and
keeps
he's like,
tabs
"You can't be
on
the if you frolic."
he keeps tabs on the number of posts that
he does.
All the contributors have. That is
he's like,
true,
"Oh,
right?
Lauer, you're gaining on me, so I better record me eating some pizza in front of a camera and post that so I can stay ahead of you." And
Yes, that is true. So how are things up in the Midwest, the state of Indiana, here in the middle of January of 2023?
Pretty boring, but very gloomy, which I was telling you is a constant in January in Indiana every year, is just a total crap month. Gloomy, no sunshine, cold, but there's no snow. Haven't had anything since that winter blast Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just very like, let's hurry up and get this over with. Let's get out of January.
Yeah.
Nothing really to look forward to or anything. It's like, well, so let's just move it along.
When do you all usually get your first round? When is spring sprung? Usually you get is it March or is it later than that in the spring?
Guarantee you, February we'll get another blast of winter. We'll get teased for an early spring, always do, and then that's just like, it is just a little tease, and then bam, winter comes back and backhands you. In March, and then consistent spring weather, is probably back half of March, April. But there was just a couple of years ago on Mother's Day, we had snow that came out of nowhere.
Okay.
So, I'd love to answer your question with, I don't know, some kind of truth, but I have no clue. It's a crapshoot in Indiana.
It was in the high 70s here yesterday. I wore shorts all day. And then, like I was telling you, I think we're getting a little blast of little winter remix, small winter storm here next week. So
you can still wear your shorts, just put some of that, the long johns underneath.
Yeah.
And then you're good.
Texas weather. All right, let's get into some Batman. I actually got some good Batman on Film news to talk about. I think on the the original BOF podcast, Garrett and Justin discuss some of this, but this is Batman on Film. This is my show, so what the hell? We can talk about it again, and a little different angle here. So, Matt Reeves has done a little bit of talking. He was doing some press to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Cloverfield.
Love that movie, actually.
Yeah, it is good flick. 15 years, so. It's like it just came out that long ago. Yeah, it was 15 years ago. Same thing with like Batman Begins is getting to almost 20 years.
Yeah.
We're 18 years from Batman Begins.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So you
You
always
start hearing
say,
it, can't you? The Neil Young. Oh
yeah,
man, look at my life.
yeah. It's just we always wish these movies. We wish our movie life away almost sometimes. You know, like, I can't wait for it to get here.
I need it here now. Okay, well,
Yeah.
you're going to be 3 years older when that comes. Are you sure you want to hurry up and speed it through?
Like the Batman, you know, it got pushed back a couple times, and it was like, oh, it's never going to get here. And now we're looking at a year since Batman Begins. I mean, we're going to get here pretty soon. We'll be closer to the sequel than we are to the Batman being out. So that's crazy. All right. So Matt Reeves doing that press for Cloverfield, and I'm going to credit Collider
with the exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusives popping up all over the place.
Yeah. Where most of these quotes came from. He talks about the Penguin leading into the Batman 2 and pretty much says, in fact, I'll tell you, not pretty much, I'll tell you what he says. Okay. He's, talks about, he says, we are, here's the big exclusive, Ryan. We're, the Batman sequel is happening. Did you not know that?
I think I was aware.
Yeah. It's like announced a year ago at CinemaCon, but whatever. No, who's keeping tabs? He says we're deep in it, and my partner and I are writing. Mattson, which is Mattson Tomlin, and I are writing, and it's really exciting. I'm really excited about what we're doing. I'm really excited to be doing the Batman sequel with Rob Pattinson, because I think he's such a special person and actor. So my take of this is he's really excited.
Yeah. He's really excited to continue to do what he told us he was excited about doing a year ago.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And he talks about the Penguin and says,
listen, and go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I get it. You got to get some content. You got to get some clicks because you got to earn your paycheck and stuff. I get all of that. I do. But it just does kind of make me laugh sometimes of the way it was blasting all over the place on social media. You'd think that he just announced the plot, the characters, the twist and everything. And in reality, it's just like, guys, it's actually just the same stuff we already knew, but okay. All right.
He talks about the Penguin, which we know is about to start shooting here next month, I believe, in New York. We are very, very soon to start shooting the Penguin with Colin, that would be Colin Farrell. That is super exciting. I can tell you this, Matt Reeves is excited, man.
He's excited.
He's excited about this stuff. And he also mentions how the Penguin will lead into the Batman sequel. There's actually a whole little fabric of things we were wanting to do, the way we're doing it with the Penguin, and how that comes back into how that will lead into the sequel and what the sequel is going to be. So I think we speculated about this before, right? That and I had heard that the Penguin would be kind of a midway bridge, if you will, between the Batman into the Batman sequel, probably coming about, I think once it airs, which will be late this year, early next year, it'll probably be right around the halfway point between the two, give or take a few months either way. So I'm interested to see what that fabric is that's going to lead us into the Batman sequel. Any idea? And just based on what we know, any speculation? I mean, is it we're going to get more mob stuff, more gangland stuff? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a creative, so I let them create. I just fan.
I have a few things. So as far as the time, I mean, we already got a little bit more clarity on what this is going to pick up pretty much
like a week later.
Almost like from Falcone's office, basically, that we see Penguin in the end of the Batman. So it'll be interesting to see, like, because I don't know, has it ever been announced how many episodes are going to be in this?
No, but I think
Okay.
that's like 6 or 8, something like that.
6 or 8,
Yeah.
I'd put my money on. How long of a time span that's going to be?
Yeah.
Whether it's going to feel almost like those 8 episodes is, a couple weeks in Gotham and that's it, or if that's going to stretch out like, no, this represents a couple of months, etc. That will be interesting because if this kind of leads right to the Batman 2 of it gives us a little bit of a heads up on, oh, the Batman 2 is going to take place almost like pretty close to the first one, and it's not going to have that like begins in Dark Knight, I don't know, 6-month gap or etc. I think that's a little intriguing to me, just to see how long this story is going to be played out in the Penguin. As far as when it airs, I just kind of feel too, series. So HBO series, they could do, they used to do, like 13 episode series and stuff like that, the hour-long dramas, every single year.
Mhm.
So this not being like some special effects heavy, I assume, like, House of the Dragons and stuff, I could definitely see them filming it, getting ready to film now, and it airing this year.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm not in the meetings. I don't know. That's just exciting because we don't we don't have to wish our lives away. Like, hurry up, get here 2 years from now so we can watch it. And then I think just because we know that the Falcone family is being added in to the mix, we already got the Sophia casting. Alberto hasn't been cast; it was just mentioned, right? That he's going to be in there. Okay, I know a lot of stuff is like just kind of blending together. But so we know that they're in here. You have long said, and I fully agree with you, that Maroni's got to be in this. And then we've just got we've got a gang war, and Penguin's just caught in the middle, trying to figure how can he benefit and play his cards right to become the Penguin that we all know, the rise of the Penguin.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like it's got to be a gang, because that's on the money side of it, that's economical in the sense of you've got a drama with some like gangs and stuff that's not going to be too insanely expensive, and then it's a good gritty like crime series, mob series that HBO is kind of notorious for, thanks to Sopranos, and like notorious in the way of like that's high quality storytelling.
Yep. Good stuff. I'm interested in what thread will be established, what plot thread or whatever that Reeves is referring to will be in the Penguin, and then we'll see continue on into the Batman. Is it more mob stuff? I don't know. I know that Justin and Garrett were talking about this, and they were like wanting to know, or just hypothesizing, well, I wonder if we'll get any flashbacks, like Penguins. A younger Penguin than what we even saw in the Batman, and about how he got involved with organized crime and whatever. And I do know that there's a subplot in the Penguin where while he's trying to vault himself into the top mob position in Gotham, he's also taking care of his mother, who's kind of needs care, maybe a little bit out of it, older, whatever, has to take care of his mom. So I don't know if
they're just ripping off Gotham.
Yeah. So I don't know if there is if that's going to be a part of the plot used where they do flashbacks. I don't know. Hey, whatever they do, I'm up for.
Maybe this is blending together too, because I haven't read it in quite a while. There's a story called Penguin, Pain and Prejudice. I don't know if you've ever read that. It's the past couple of years, I feel like it's started to get the attention that it deserves. It's a great Penguin story. You'd almost want to say like it's his Killing Joke in a sense. And something about having to take care of his mother seems very familiar. Like
I was going to
almost
ask
like
you,
mother
as
issues.
as the curator of the Batman book club,
Oh geez.
is
Oh goodness.
there is there even though I fancy myself a semi-professional or amateur, I should say, Batman historian,
Okay.
I would have they is there any comic book story or stories from the comics that's dealt in with like the the Cobblepot family? I know that but I think, I mean, maybe it's just I'm thinking things I've read or watched throughout the years.
Yeah.
There's been a little bit of there was a I don't want to call it a rivalry, but maybe the Cobblepots were jealous of the Wayne family, and there always been a chip on their shoulder. You know, as far the status of the Cobblepots compared to that of the Waynes, but this Oz in the Batman, he seems more streetwise than coming from money.
Mm-hmm.
He would come from working class or coming from, again, well, not for money. I put it that way.
I think he feels definitely like the yeah, just not for money, worked his way up,
Mm-hmm.
had to go through some shit.
Yeah.
Not a great life. And then just, I don't know, took on a job. I just feel like by happenstance, he was you'd almost say like the right place at the right time, but also at the wrong time. And then that got him involved in this life. As Bill, as many comics as I have read, I'm still a student in
Yes.
the Batman comic universe. So like nothing springs to mind. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Penguin was actually never really one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like, I mean, that's almost a time where I enjoyed the very 1950s-ish Penguin stuff was at least entertaining to me, because otherwise it was just, I don't know, it just kind of didn't do much for me for a long time. And then once I think they really found, and I'm not saying there aren't stories that I enjoyed in 70s or 80s or anything, but once they got him involved in crime, they did Iceberg Lounge and stuff. I think like, ooh, I really like this with Penguin. And
Like,
that
for the
Pain and
most
Prejudice.
part, yeah, it's just he was like a gimmick villain with
Gimmicks, which
with umbrellas.
fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
yeah.
But it didn't, nothing really stood out to me on, oh, he's doing stuff with Penguin. I mean, with umbrellas again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pending my mood. But Pete and I are going through, Return to No Man's Land and No Man's Land now. And I've read that once before. I don't remember a whole lot other than a really like big thing that happens. But Pete swears that Cobblepot Penguin is highly involved in, dealings with mob and crime and stuff like that. But I mean, I'd recommend anybody track down that Penguin Pain and Prejudice. That's a great Penguin story. And then actually they just did this One Bad Day series that DC's doing right now. They did one on Penguin back in like October, and it was awesome. So it's just a good contained Penguin story. So there you go.
Okay. Well, I know that because of the way Matt Reeves and company wrote this character, this version of Oz Cobblepot, combined with the performance by Colin Farrell, I'm all in and all invested in this character. And this
could be my favorite version of Penguin.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because I think I love. I mean, it just makes so much sense him being involved with organized crime, being a mob boss.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than just the Burgess Meredith, gimmick. I'm just a bad guy with henchmen, and I do stuff with umbrellas.
pending the mood, sometimes that's
Yeah.
completely fine. But yeah, there's something there's an extra twinkle in Colin Farrell's eye
Mhm.
when he was playing Oz in the Batman that just kind of does feel really, I don't know, unique and also
Yeah.
like magnetic. Of like I just wanted so much more of him than we got because he was just great. So
Speaking of Oz, this was going to ask you, is he ever referred to as anything other than Oz and Penguin? I mean, even in the credits, is it just Oz slash the Penguin? Do they ever mention Cobblepot?
do I think they will?
I'm just asking it so far in the Batman. Is it ever Cobblepot, that last name of his, ever used, or is it just Oz?
I don't think in what I've seen, it's just talking about the Penguin series, and it says the
Yeah.
Penguin series, the Penguin series.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Cobblepot anything
They
I've seen yet.
change
So
I wonder if they would change his last name. Would it bother you if they did?
like a little bit for
Has
just
he
being a
ever been
nerd because
referred?
I
Yeah.
don't see a reason why it would need to be changed. Is Cobblepot like
Yeah.
Oswald Cobblepot? Why not? But
Yeah.
I don't Oswald Miller like
Yeah. Okay.
Infantino.
Yeah. Just throwing that out there. All right. So Matt Reeves also revealed that he and James Gunn and Peter Safran are planning to meet here shortly. Maybe they already have, since it's been a couple of weeks probably since he did this interview, to discuss the BatVerse, as he refers to it, the BatVerse, and the new DCU, to make sure that they are not
They're all
stepping
connected.
on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they're not going to step on each other's toes, I guess. Let's see. He says, now to me, I'm still calling it the Batman universe, the BTU, but I just thought it was kind of cool that Matt Reeves actually is calling it. He's got a name for it, the Batverse. So he says that it's Gunn and Safran, have been great. We're actually supposed to meet in the next few weeks because they want to talk to me about the DCU broad plan, and they want to hear the BatVerse plan. We're just going to get together to talk about all that. Look, I'm excited to hear what they're going to do. The BatVerse thing, as James has said, James Gunn and Peter Safran, they both said it's kind of their own thing that they're letting us do. So he also confirms what we already know, that the Batman, the BatVerse, the Batman U, the BTU is its own separate thing at Warner Brothers and I'm supposedly, I'm assuming it's also part of, they'll have the DC Films banner, DC Studios banner, I should say. All right, Ryan, let's stop right here just for a moment for a word from our sponsors. So yeah, I think it's kind of cool that they're meeting to make sure that, I guess for lack of a better term, they're not trying to step on each other's toes. I'm sure that, and we'll get to this in a second, I'm sure that Reeves as the Batman is probably a lot different than what Gunn and Safran have planned for the DCU Batman anyway. What's the term he used to describe what they're doing? You mentioned it earlier.
It's a air traffic control.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Makes sense. It's working together. We as an audience don't want to see a rehash where we're seeing the same thing. Also, I don't think what Reeves would do with Batman would necessarily work in I don't know the plan, but it's just with the tone and with other characters and all that stuff too. The tones, I think, are just going to be completely different. So if I don't know. I think it just makes sense. I don't think that we're in for a surprise that there's going to be a massive reveal that Robert Pattinson's going to be in the DC universe alongside other
Yeah.
members of the Justice League. It's just they're going to have their own separate like stories, and I think that is the right way to go. It doesn't, and Batman's in it, in whatever, I will watch it. Period. So while I do like my self-contained Batman stories and Batman's by himself, I've watched Justice League cartoons and read World's Finest comics and stuff too. So I've seen Batman mix it with other DC characters, and some stories I really like, some stories not so much. So whatever they do, Gunn does with Batman, I'll be there. I'll watch it. I'll judge it, if I like it or not and stuff. But I do think keeping them separate is the right way to go. And it gives also Reeves what he was kind of promised.
Mhm.
And I know things change. And if the Batman was a major flop, then I can understand if they have to, go back on that deal, but it didn't. And apparently, head honcho Zaslav was extremely happy with that movie and with Matt Reeves. So I don't see that there's any reason to restrict him into forcing now into this new plan, and to just let him continue doing what he wants to do. And then Gunn's being the professional of, let's make sure that we don't overlap.
Yeah, it's James Gunn had said at one time, I guess a little over a year ago or about a year ago, he interacts on social media. Did you know that?
I believe you said he was an assassin.
He is. But he said about a year ago, someone asked him what film was he most looking forward to seeing in 2022, and he said the Batman. And the reason is he's like said that Matt Reeves is one of the, and I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Sure.
But Matt Reeves is one of the few filmmakers who has a unique vision and is, can't be compromised.
Mm-hmm.
When Reeves, for example, when Reeves pitched the Batman to Warner Brothers, he's like, hey, I totally get if you don't want to go this route, but this is how I would do it. And it's the only way I would do it. And they went, yeah, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's under a different regime, but still, and Gunn, Gunn's, now he's an executive, but he's also a filmmaker, and he has a lot of respect for Matt Reeves. And yeah, he could have just said, hey, he could have, same thing with Patty Jenkins and lesser degree with Henry Cavill and that whole fiasco with Superman. But they could have said, hey, we're gonna go a different route,
Yeah.
But they're letting him finish his vision. And this brings up, here's the exact quote. He says, I had this dream for the way I wanted to play out, and that's part of what I'm going to be talking to them about in a few weeks. They're going to be talking to me about what they're doing in their 10-year plan, or certainly what's in the near future as well, so that we can understand that we are not, it's air traffic control, he says. We don't want to be crashing into each other. We want to support each other. I'm super excited. You excited again there?
He's
Ryan?
excited. He's very excited.
He's really excited as well.
Goodness.
I'm really excited to hear about what they're doing and to be working with them. It's going to be cool. So this leads me into this. Do you think that there will be any period of overlap between the Batman and the new DCU Batman?
I do. Albeit brief, but actually, I do. I don't know. I know, even given the timing of, we don't even know what the plan is, and James Gunn is writing the Superman's script. which I thought the last I heard he'd said he hasn't finished it. I don't know if he started. I don't know.
Yeah, he said it wasn't near being finished. They weren't anywhere close to casting.
And the earliest the Superman movie could even possibly be done in theaters is back half of 2025. I feel
That's pushing it
at
too.
the earliest.
Yeah, that's like absolute earliest.
And I know by then we might have. I mean, we're speculating, feeling like the Batman sequel is going to be 2025.
Yes.
And then just, I mean, it just becomes normal 3 years, 2028. I feel like there might be a slight overlap, but I obviously don't know.
I'm of the opinion, I don't think they should overlap. Let me put it that way. That's my opinion. That this second part of this, Reeves, what he said, about the air traffic control and what they're doing in the near future makes me wonder if there might be a bit of overlap. It also makes me wonder if does Reeves plan to do more than a trilogy? I've always heard, and I've also assumed it was, a trilogy story, and I still think that.
Has that ever been out of his mouth? Has Reeves ever said, I'm doing a trilogy?
Pattinson has said it wants to do a trilogy.
Did. Okay.
Pattinson has, yes. I doing the math, okay. We just talked about the earliest that Superman that Gunn is actually working on right now, scripting, would be, I mean, like absolute earliest is like late 2025. 2026 is probably more realistic, right? If we got the Batman 2 in 2025, and then you've got the finale in let's just say 3-year gap, 2028, 3 years after that, because I don't see Matt Reeves doing anything, directing anything. He's not going to do like Nolan and do Prestige and Inception and things in between, and so forth. So between Batman films, so he's like all in to this BatVerse right now.
And his production company is what's going to do non-Batman related stuff, right?
Yes.
They did a deal with his production company while he himself is the BatVerse.
Mm-hmm. And so if the finale is in 2028, well, that's 5 years from now. And it's not like Warner Brothers will be going in without live action Batman on the big screen during this period until the new DCU Batman shows up. And then also I'm just throwing that out there because I hear people saying, I can't see them going that long without, I'm like, okay, you're not going without Batman. You have the Reeves universe. You have the Reeves films, the Batman universe, movies. So, I mean, there could be, you have the finale in 2028 and then 2031, 2 or 3 years later, you're introduced to the DCU Batman. But also it makes me
that'd have been the same gap as the last, world building of DC between, Man of Steel, Superman introduced in 2013. We as an audience didn't get Batman in that universe until 3 years later in 2016. So that's a very similar gap, of 3 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it also kind of prevents a little bit of oversaturation. So I would say that there won't be any overlap, but it also makes me wonder how they are going to introduce the DCU Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you do an origin film? Do you do a solo film? And I know James Gunn said that the Superman film, he's young, but it's not an origin movie. He's already Superman. He's already Clark Kent working at the Daily Planet. what do you know?
Which is that not kind of the Batman as far as like time and career?
Yeah.
Not origin, but early on.
Yeah.
I don't know where you strike with DCU's Batman. We've gotten an origin. We've gotten him 20 years into a career. We've gotten him now, year 2.
Mm-hmm.
So then where does the DCU Batman go? I mean, just Batman in his prime? I'd be fine with that. We've hit the other markers, even though 2016, no, actually, I guess in Joker. I was going to say the last time we saw the Wayne murders, and not just because we're nerds, but I feel like a person who's going to, general audience, they know that the Waynes, they don't need to see it again. I just really still
think
that needs to be done.
I don't think you do another origin film with Batman.
Batman Begins,
lots of reasons. Yeah.
Begins, you said, is 18 years old this year. But yet it's still, I think because it was just done so well and it was a good movie that it feels a lot more recent than that.
Yeah, it's pretty damn definitive when it comes to Batman's origin story.
And I'm not saying that we'll never have the Wayne murders again on a movie, of course, but I still feel like it's just not needed. So maybe Prime Batman is it. Like, just why the hell not? I'm jonesing for in his prime Batman, and he just is. Like, we don't need to rehash. And if people have problems with that, then whatever. They're allowed to have opinions. But I don't know. I guess that's a spot they can hit that they haven't really recently. Mid-30s. Batman just is.
I hope, and look, I'm a Batman fan, but
I
would hope, yes.
Never guessed.
I do. I would hope with this DCU that it's kind of centered on Superman.
I think it has to be. To be honest, and this is Batman on film. We're both massive Batman fans. That doesn't mean that we're not Superman fans. And I do think to get that character back to the prominence, it's centered around him. They tried in Man of Steel, and I think they took a lot of missteps. Personally, and I think you can build it around Superman, but I think you just don't put the cart in front of the horse. I know they have a plan, and that's obviously makes sense, and that's good. I feel very confident that James Gunn's writing the script for Superman, whatever it may end up being. But it's like, that's my babbling way of saying I fully agree. I think you build it around Superman.
Yeah, maybe Batman doesn't get a origin, or a solo film for a while. Maybe
he's involved in these movies, and you just see the reaction. What do people think? Are people loving it? And that can also be like, okay, people want this Batman to have his own movie.
Yeah. I'm also, and I've said this before, I hope they do it. I don't want it to be like what the MCU did, where you have all these origin films and these solo films, and then, you build up to the Avengers. I just hope they do something different. I mean, have them mix and mingle from the beginning, Yeah.
I didn't mind the idea what was happening with your favorite term, DCEU, because I think they were going a little different in the sense of a Justice League movie. This was the first time you're going to get Flash, and the first time you were going to get Aquaman. It wasn't each individual, and so it was different. But like I said, I just think there were some missteps.
Yeah.
But that would be cool in Superman that you don't get Justice League. It's like Flash shows up, and that's it. Something different like that. Yeah, that could be kind of fun and exciting. Or he just so happens to encounter Green Lantern. while he's out flying in space or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that could be cool. That'd be different.
Yeah. It's because you don't want to go down that road. Like, we've already seen this done with Marvel, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Which,
even
you know,
Marvel or MCU they're kind of gotten back into a corner now, you know, with where they can go with this stuff. Gunn seems to be, because what he said, being a filmmaker, is that he wants these directors that he eventually brings on board to be able to do their own thing.
Yeah.
And so
that's hard to do, I think, if it's all got to be connected.
Yeah. So how
do you do that?
How strong is the connection? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you okay, we're building this Bible. It is one universe, but we're not going to be banging the audience's head, you know, with a hammer saying it's all connected and we're building up to a big team up film. Maybe it's just more organic during the course of adding to the universe with new characters and so forth.
And also, I don't think we need to be, I'm just saying collectively, because we don't need to worry about all the freaking connections either.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that, because sometimes I think I have encountered a lot of conversations of like, no, but then it's not connected in here. And it's like, who cares?
No.
Like Aquaman itself could almost be, it is a standalone movie, except Mira has one line where she says Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
That's otherwise it's a standalone movie. So it's like, who really, I don't watch Aquaman and think of, wait, how did this connect to Justice League?
I was a proponent of what the route Walter Hamada wanted to go, where we're going to make the best movies possible. And if they technically connect, they connect. If they don't, they don't. I still think, especially with, you know, what we talked about here with Reeves and Gunn and Safran, and, you know, they're not there's air traffic control and whatnot. And they're going to, each wants to know what the other is doing. I still think it would be nice to have this alternate DC on film banner under DC Studios. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Where you can do an R-rated Joker movie.
I want them to continue with stuff like Joker and the Batman, not just with Batman characters, but with, hey, use other DC characters. You know?
Oh my gosh! I mean, that Luthor story that Azzarello and Bermeo did.
Yeah.
Take the Joker approach. There's so many opportunities with Lex Luthor. I think that'd be awesome. People know the name Lex Luthor. It's not Joker, but they know the name Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. That'd be, that was I don't know. I'm fully with you on a black label of DC movies.
I know they said that Steven Spielberg's that Black Hawks movie is still in development, quote unquote.
Yeah.
At Warner Brothers. That's a DC character. But maybe he doesn't want, you know, it could be, you want that to be like a World War II period.
How does this connect to the DCU Batman, Bill?
So that's the thing. Doesn't have
I'll ask you though.
But anyway, but I do think, with that said, it seems there is a little more overtly connected. It's going to be a little bit more overtly connected than the Hamada plan, which was just to make films, but maybe not as much as the MCU. So we'll see. We'll see.
All right.
I know this.
I have a couple. Go ahead.
No, I said I know this. We're going to have Batman on film to talk about for many more years.
I have a couple rapid fire questions for you though.
Okay.
Whether you know something or not, not asking that. I'm just asking you, Bill, as a fan. Do you think DCU Batman suit will be blue?
No.
Okay. Do you think it will be mesh, or will it go kind of more armor-ish like we've seen with Pattinson and Bale?
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think it'll be different than what we've seen. I just think you're going to get some sort of armorish type
Yeah.
material, supposed to be armor look to it. I don't think he's going to be wearing spandex. No.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, do you think that there's any villain that would just be off the table for DCU? Bat villain, rogues.
No.
Gotcha. This concludes my questions.
Okay. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Where do you stand on Blue Batman?
It's not a slight to whoever posted it in the BOF Facebook group. Not at all. I've yet to see any that impress me. Any of these created.
Here's my thing.
There's so much obsession because we haven't seen it yet, I guess.
Yeah.
There's so much obsession with it needs to be blue and gray. And I'm like, does it though? Because I think the armored stuff has looked good. I think Affleck looked like a beast for sure. In his suit. It's not my favorite Batman suit at all. Sometimes there's such a hang up on it needs to absolutely look like in a comic book, and I'm like, but it's a different medium.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it needs to, or that it will accurately look like lifted from the page. And there may be some instances, and I definitely see the suit that he wore looks like a page to screen, like pretty closely, but I'm like, it's still kind of off though. And so with blue, with that, and I know in that posting in the BOF Facebook group, I think there was a comment, even, I apologize, I don't remember who'd said it, that blue works better like in dark than black does, with some explanation, whatever. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm unimpressed with whatever.
Here's my take
so far.
Okay, here's my take. Batman was never supposed to be blue, even in the comics.
It was the printing.
It was the printing. It was the color restrictions at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a lesson learned from the great Michael Uslan. That it's no different than Superman's hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Superman doesn't have blue hair.
You know what? That's what DCU needs. Blue-haired Clark Kent.
Yes. That's my new mission.
Yeah, make it happen, James Gunn.
Blue hair Superman.
That's right. Blue girl.
And that was he's always the cowl, the boots. I mean, all of that is always has supposed to have been black. It's just as comic printing, improved over the years, that you could actually do straight up, the straight up black to be straight up black. So that's that. And that's just the technical aspect. Secondly, why would he wear a blue suit?
Yeah, I don't know. And I should stand corrected. Adam West wore a blue bat suit.
Yes.
I should stand corrected that, yes, I have seen it. I stand by also, though, that I'm not necessarily impressed.
Yes. And it was a very dark blue.
Yeah, it's very dark blue. It was a different time, all that stuff and everything. Yes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be against it. They give me a suit that looks awesome and it's blue. Okay, cool.
But that's why would he wear blue? He's trying to scare people. So I'm gonna have this royal blue, because that's almost the color that you always see, because that's kind of the comic. The color was just like very blue. Not, it wasn't like a navy or dark blue or anything.
We're both wearing blue right now.
Yes.
We look pretty scary.
It's you know, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't get the aesthetic of how that looks. Why would that look good other than it's in the comic books?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with the trunks on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that was, you know what, you know why they had
I don't
those?
know.
Because both Superman and Batman were based on, the suits are based on like those old strongman guys from the 20s and 30s who would be
Yeah.
at circuses and stuff.
Yeah.
They always had those trunks, they had the trunks.
The trunks
on
and the
outside.
one bar.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where it
So
came from.
I won't say, because I don't think I can ever say definitively I'm 100% against something. It's just, I think for a live action, black works.
It's just right there. It's the same thing with wanting to have white eyes and white lenses that glow, things like that.
Yeah.
Why would you want to hide the actors? Can you imagine Pattinson and the Batman with lenses the whole time?
You take away one of their tools.
Yeah. Like maybe their biggest tool.
Yeah, I don't.
Other than I didn't even like it in that much in Dark Knight when he had, that they dropped down with with the sonar radar, whatever it was, when he was toward the end.
It was really quick.
I wasn't a huge fan of that
for
look.
why he needed that, but yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't need that permanently.
Yeah. So that's me just going off on a tangent.
It'll be exciting to see what they do come up with for the suit, because of course it's like, oh, another version of Batman, not taking away the one that, Pattinson's. It's just like, all right, we have another one coming. It'll be exciting for that reveal. What's he look like? Who's playing him? The story of this Batman and stuff. All that's something cool to look forward to. I don't need it right now though.
So, now, I guess in Batman and Robin, Clooney's suit was a shade of blue, huh?
I stand by. I've yet to be impressed.
Again,
his suit was, I'd say, aspects of it could, reflective of the time in the comics. But again, I'm just, I don't know. I go back to, I know what my wording was of yet to be impressed.
So, well, okay. I'm going to quote Bruce Wayne himself.
I'm Batman.
As my mic drop. Okay.
All right.
On this. And then I have one more topic I want to get to.
Yeah.
Criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. So my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. I must be a creature of the night. Black. Terrible. A bat. That's it. It's an omen. I shall become a bat. He doesn't say I need to be able to strike terror in their hearts. I must be a creature of the night. Blue. Terrible. A bat.
I've never heard that quote before. Is that new? Is that a new one?
It's quite a bit old.
A little bit.
I believe that's from Batman #1, 1940. I believe. The Batman, who he is and how he came to be. A little two-page origin story.
Where he's a strong man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So anyway, all right.
Last topic.
Barry Keoghan. I'm always
that is how it's said.
Keoghan.
Mm-hmm. On
Barry Keoghan.
Yeah. The Josh Horowitz that you're about to mention.
Yes.
Introed him on that as Keoghan, and he even said, he was like, hey, you got it right. Keoghan.
Okay.
So there we go.
Keoghan.
Paul Dano. Barry Keoghan.
Paul Dano. And I still butcher Gal Gadot. It's his name, I think.
Gal G.
Sorry, Gal.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. I'm not trying to do that. You're a lovely woman. So Barry Keoghan, who we saw briefly in the Batman as what is it? Is it how they credit him in
Unseen
the film?
Prisoner?
Unseen Arkham Prisoner. Is that it?
I've got Google at my fingertips, so you carry
Okay.
on as I look it up.
So he does with Josh Horowitz, Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. I know Josh. He does good work.
Mm-hmm.
His interviews are good. So he talks about he's of course asks, yeah, you want to play Joker again? Have you heard from Matt Reeves? He's like, do you want to play him? Oh, he says definitely. Three definitelys, because I have a few other things I'd love to bring. Actually, I had this little half moleskin book I've written a lot in already. So yeah, I want to show people what that is. Obviously, I'd love another crack. I've got a ton of back work done on him if an opportunity does arise, but they make the call and I got to respect that. But yeah, definitely. Barry Keoghan wants to play the Joker again. And I suspect that will happen myself.
I'm not surprised that he wants to. At one point in listening to that, he'd said of like he doesn't have anything else to say or doesn't want to say anything else or whatever. I don't think that was his hint. I think it's just, all this stuff is played very close to the chest. In a position of knowing something in their position. So let's just say in his position, I wouldn't want to accidentally slip up or imply anything. I'd feel extremely high pressure to even talk about it. So I don't read into him saying that at all, other than just like, I've said all I have to say. I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah.
I think he knows if he's gonna.
Sure.
I don't know. I'll ask him when I have lunch with him next week. I think he knows if he's going to or not. I do think that he will. Obviously, don't know the capacity, but I think we'll see him as seen Arkham prisoner.
Yes.
in a movie, maybe TV show, but we'll actually get full on, full reveal, him front and center at some point.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what Reeves and company does with the Joker, how they use him, because you do have the Dark Knight, which is in all medium is one of the great Batman Joker stories.
And again, 15 years this year, but yeah, it still feels more recent than that to people.
And
you
may want to do something different than just full on Batman versus Joker. I loved the deleted scene. That was great. I again, we've talked this up a storm. I get why it was removed, and I support that decision. But
yeah,
hadn't really had that. You had Batman physically confronting the Joker in the interrogation scene in The Dark Knight, but this was this was not really an interrogation. He was seeking the help of the Joker, and it was more of a psychological attack. The Joker towards Batman than anything. Batman, he's the Joker behind bars, behind glass. He couldn't get to him. So
there will always be in this space I'm gonna say picking apart criticism on the aesthetic of things. And I think that he's the little bit, which we didn't get a full-on reveal, but we got the genuine idea of this Joker, his look. And there's a lot of quick throwaway comments about it of, like, oh, whatever the hell this is. And like, oh, this looks like ass or something like that. And and part of me is just like, I don't like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
is uncomfortable, unsettling, and Ledger's went there to an extent with a cut face. That was a little unsettling. Nicholson's wasn't that disturbing. It was great, obviously, not knocking it. Leto's, I think, was trying to almost go like gangster sexy cool kind of, and
Yeah.
it was just like it. I don't think that. So I think that way you're going to be looking at something that you don't want to look at, and that's the point. So no, it's not just a look of what we saw. Like his face is not like this is the best Joker image I've seen yet or anything like that. But I do think we just got a little bit of an appetizer of something that is unsettling. And I don't know, to me, and maybe I'm just making it all up, but more like this is coming. Like this is unsettling. Just wait for this Joker. And that's part of that is like that's unsettling in itself. That could be terrifying in itself. And it's like, well, good. That's the point of the Joker. It's you actually have someone that you're not going to root for, as opposed to rooting for. And that in itself has been messed up in a way. And that's a joke in itself that the Joker would like, that we've actually liked the Joker on screen and that we loved Heath Ledger's Joker because like, but he's not a good guy. Why are we enjoying him? And it's like, you might actually get one that is flat out disturbing, messed up, and like grotesque to look at. And it's like, that could be pretty powerful.
I agree. I mean, don't you think maybe that's part of the reason they went that route with the look?
Yeah, that's what I think. And I would never question
and so the reaction, like, that's ass, to quote you.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you want.
Yeah. And so then I'm almost a little on that, and who the hell am I to tell somebody what they think or feel? But it's kind of like, I don't know that you get it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're that's the point. To say that's ass though, it's kind of like, okay, well, I kind of don't care about your opinion either, because
yeah.
But I don't know, that's just kind of how I felt about it is from the get-go. And it'll be interesting. We add the two scenes together, we've gotten 5 minutes of this version.
You get,
Tops.
I did bring up the Dark Knight again. I did learn from that. I'm a lifelong learner. You know that, Lauer?
I think you should always make sure to try and continue to be a student.
It taught me, and there was a lesson learned by a lot of people, way more than me, because I didn't have a meltdown, but there's more to the Joker than the way he looks. You got green hair, white skin. It's kind of the Joker. You got to have that, right?
Yeah.
But as far as perma white, cut smile, whatever. And now in this case, just this really, this birth defect, essentially, the way Matt Reeves described it, where he's has a affliction. He's in a permanent grin because of it. He has some sort of skin ailment. I mean, it's more about the way he looks is what to be the Joker, and you can say the same thing for the way Paul Dano, his version, the Riddler. I mean, that was the Riddler.
He wore green, had a question mark, and asked riddles.
Yeah.
That's Riddler to me.
I mean, he doesn't have to have him in a top hat, bowler hat, and green spandex and all that to be the Riddler. So
it's okay to have a preference. It's always okay to have a preference.
Yeah.
But anyways,
the only aesthetic thing that's got to be set in stone is Batman can't not be blue.
Okay.
And I have a smirk on my face as I say that, even though you can't see that. Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Right.
Brian, what you got to plug?
What do I have to plug? BatmanOnFilm.com. Batman on film.com. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You think I'm new to this? Most recent review posted up there is Batman 131, a new arc that's interesting.
Yeah.
Make sure you come back to the site next month to read the next review for that issue, as well as the finale to Sean Murphy's Batman Beyond the White Knight. Shameless patting myself on the back. Mr. Murphy sent me the issue already for that, and I read it. And it's great. So check back on Batman on Film next month for that. Also on Batman on Film, because Bill is very generous. Always posts my podcast, the Batman Book Club, on the site. Most recent episode had pal Austin Rodriguez, who came to the watch party last year. I got to meet him in person finally. I had him on the show and we talked I Am Bane. So check that out wherever you listen to podcasts and or Batman on Film. And then some fun stuff for that's coming up.
All right. BatmanOnFilm.com. Yes, Batman-on-film.com. You can find all my stuff there. I will say the Batman Book Club and the Batman on Film podcast, all the shows and others are part of the Batman Podcast Network.
Food and Pockets, straight out of Gotham.
Yes. You can find the link to that on Batman on Film proper and check out those other shows that are there. If you would like to advertise on Batman on Film, advertisecast.com/Batman on Film. There's links to that from Batman on Film as well. And that's all I got. Announcer Rachel will take us out, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jet's official vlog and podcast on Batman on Film. Follow Jet on Twitter @Batman on Film. Follow the BOF newsfeed on Twitter @The Batman on Film. For Jet and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, established in 1998.